physical challenge that Samoa present. When I was going through the stats and the weight and the experience now as well, Paul, of this side, if it comes together, they could give most sides a scare.
And that's what they'll want to do. They didn't really get out of second gear in their opening game. A sloppy first half, difficult because they'd had such a long time to wait, and their preparation, not what England have had, or France or Ireland, not a great long list of games to get prepared. So they'll have learned from that first one, and they will fancy their chances against Argentina. Like you say, they do have mass, but what they have is experience and some guile to go with it.
More very dark clouds have swept in from the west, and above the stands here they're unleashing. The rain is coming down, swirling around as well. You can see it, it's moving in all sorts of directions. Tricky playing conditions for both these sides, and we're just about ready to get underway, and I'll have a chance to run through the two teams as we take this little break here. Our television colleagues take a break and sell us various products. A wave has started already moving around the Geoffroy Guichard. It's quite an impressive one as well, but it's just a wave of anticipation at what's to come here. Samoa, again, all in their blue or white shorts, blue socks, blue tops, are down to our left as we look at it, kicking from left to right, and they will get underway. Argentina in the very, very familiar, the famous light blue and white hoops. And Samoa get us going. And it's taken in by the Argentinian fullback, Juan Cruz Malia, the man who's had that head collision with Tom Curry against England that saw Curry red carded eventually, and the charge down doesn't quite happen, so the kick is good in clearance. And Samoa have it just on their own 10-metre line, 15 metres from that far side touch. Oh my word! Now, as the Argentine player went up in the air to take it, he was upended. And it was Santiago Carreras, the fly half, who's gone up to take this.
You need to formally review this, please. He lands on his back inside.
But we're seeing the replay. So Duncan Paiawa, the Toulon fullback, was coming in, but he almost pushed Bertranu, the scrum half, into his own man. And then, well, this is an interesting one. Very early in the game, Paul.
Oh, goodness. Paiawa's got it completely wrong. He's chased the kick. They've gone into challenge for the high ball. Santi Carreras has got up. I think Paiawa has pushed.
Here comes your first camera
angle. Has pushed the scrum half.
Let's see if we can hear the discussion here. Nick Berry, the referee. TMO is Brett Cronin.
Pushed him in the back and then taken out the receiver in the air. So that's fair play for me.
This doesn't look good for
you guys are on yellow card threshold? Okay.
Paiawa.
No, it's not, Chris. Okay. 15, he's going to come. Yeah.
So, first of all, Chris Vui, the captain, is summoned for the explanation.
He's dangerous. He's pushed the player in the back, and he's also played the player in the air, okay? So it's going to be a yellow card.
It's a yellow card, and the cross-arm symbol is made, and that it will be reviewed as well in the bunker. In the murky depths of the bunker, they'll have a look at that. So it's yellow for now for Paiawa, and it might be more.
On the first challenges of the game, everybody's absolutely pumped up, but he's made a complete mess of that because he's not done anything. Bertranu wasn't really running a very good blocking line. He didn't get in front of him. Paiawa has just shoved him in the back and obstructed himself effectively from making a decent challenge on Carreras.
So Paiawa, he's sitting in the chair now at 8 minutes to make that decision whether it's upgraded to red. We'll come back to discuss that, but Argentina have the line out just inside the Samoan 22, slipping around on the greasy surface, down to ground, just outside the 22, and Bertranu, the scrum half, goes in to feed it onto his forwards. Gonzalez, the number 8, the Saracens man now, and he gets it back, and Argentina come again through the forwards. Hefty hit comes in from Silala Lam and his red scrum cap, the Samoa hooker, but Argentina still with it just outside the 22. Once more the forwards do their damaging bit. 3 or 4 of them hitting hard. It comes back for the Pumas again, and Argentina moving it right, and they have a bit of space. Good tackling cover from Bertranu, from Taumateni, the scrum half, and now Kramer, big bearded man of the Argentinian pack, carries it. They're still just on the edge of the 22 now, inside it. Patera sets it back, still with Argentina. 15 men attacking 14. Paiawa off to the sin bin, it might be more as well, and Argentina getting closer, up to within 15 metres now. Move it left, oh, a little step away from Carreras. And Samoa, have they turned it over? And they have, and now they're summoning in the defences right on the 5 metres out from the try line. And so it's Wong, the winger, has to go in and feed on to his loose head James Lay, but again they're only 4 metres now from their own line. So Argentina still putting on the pressure. 2.5 minutes gone only in the Stade Geoffroy Guichard in Saint-Etienne. And then goes the bleached blonde figure of Talmateni, the scrum half, to feed it back, and the clearing kick is decent, but it'll still be a line out to Argentina inside the 22.
There's a good set of defence, in fairness, from Samoa, because Argentina's attack worked them over from one side of the field to the other. It was actually Talmateni who ended up getting the turnover, got his hands on the ball, won that, and then after a phase made a decent clearing kick. Argentina with nice shapes, a good show and go from Santiago Carreras to make a half break. They're filling the field. It's going to be a test for Samoa with one man down for now.
There's a lot of good towel work going on from Julian Montoya, the hooker for Argentina, drying that ball and hitting his target beautifully, and now he takes it around the back of the line out, and Argentina choosing lines, good strength as well, knocking back defender after defender, and deep into the 22 again, options either side, carried on now by Alemano in the second row. And in goes Bertrano, the scrum half, and they move it right. Oh, and there were 2 on 1 out there, but the ball doesn't quite go to hand. A knock on, and Samoa will have the scrum and have some respite. 4 minutes gone inside the stadium. They're down a man, Samoa, but that could have been a try for Argentina.
Yes, absolutely. Great work to get onto the outside. Matias Moroni, the outside centre, had the ball. He knew he was going to get hit and get the ball over the top, but they had a man spare if the ball had gone to hand. Nigel Wong came in and hit hard after the ball had been knocked up in the air, quite within his rights to do so, but it was a rib rattler. Samoa get a chance to clear.
I've seen pictures of Silala Apasua, the head coach, alongside Tanu Manga, who's now in the Samoan coaching setup, the former All Black. Michael Cheika, the head coach of Argentina, man who's been to World Cup final with Australia, and coached Lebanon's rugby league side just in his downtime. First scrum of the match, 12 metres from that far side touch, just inside the Samoan 22, and it was entirely unsatisfactory, crumpled to the ground, and everybody applauds everybody trying to convince the referee that they had the upper hand there, but we'll do it again.
Not a thing of beauty, that one.
No, it's difficult as well. You can see all the pitch starting to cut up, and any Saint-Etienne football fans watching on here will be weeping quietly.
Stay steady, okay? Don't scrum until the ball's in, please.
So referee Nick Berry just giving his instructions, just wants stability. Looking at the pack weights, and well, I've been told something entirely different, because the pack weights we're seeing in the monitor, Argentina heavier. They're not heavier. It's Samoa have some behemoths in there. Paul Alo-Emile on the tight head, the Stade Francais prop. Huge man. Free kick to Samoa.
Guys, be balanced, please. You're inside.
And so free kick just inside the 22. So decision for Samoa to make here. They're having a long think about it. And it is going to be Christian Lealefano, the former Australian international. It's actually his birthday today, 36 today. There are a few of the old guard out there, and Montoya started a charge down on that kick. And what's Nick Berry going to say about this one? Lealefano, did he tap it?
Nope. It was a free kick from a scrum. Lealefano set up as if he was taking a penalty. As soon as he moved his foot, Montoya got on the charge. Lealefano stepped him, obviously ran away from where the mark was without playing the ball, punted it down the field. So we go back, and Argentina get the ball and a chance to set the scrum.
From one of the most experienced players, or not on the pitch, in world rugby, Lealefano, and Montoya was right, and Lealefano shaking his head and closing his eyes under that scrum cap. And Argentina suddenly listened to their fans, because they had this attacking scrum, decent blindside as well, of about 13-14 metres, and it's just inside the Samoa 22.
And with one back down, there's got to be some space somewhere if they can work it, Argentina.
Yeah, they're missing their full back, so champing at the bit, the Australian backline here. Decent scrum from Samoa, getting the better of Argentina there, but little stab through from the back line, but it's rather wasted there as Fritz Lee a hugely experienced man, comes away with it. The Clermont back rower, he's dumped to the ground 8 metres from the Samoan line. All the time we're waiting to see if Paiaoa will be upgraded from a yellow to a red. 5 minutes gone on that bunker review. The clearing kick from Lefano is long, doesn't find touch though, so Argentina come again up over the 10-metre line. Big hit comes in. Still with Argentina, all the ball to play with in these opening exchanges. Nice little interchange between the forwards. Now out wide it goes to the left wing. Carreras, Mateo Carreras has it, and deep into the 22 they go again. They're down a man. An Argentinian player is injured and receiving treatment, but Argentina driving through the forwards up to 10 metres out, and a penalty advantage. Samoa straying offside, and Argentina get back to 15. And out wide they have it. This time it is a 2-on-1. It must be a try. Oh, a little check from Boffelli. Slides, stretches, scores. Emiliano Boffelli had to work harder than he might have there. The pass was behind him, but he did so well. The Edinburgh wing cuts inside, was down short of the line, reached out, score for Argentina.
Superb handling across the outside from Argentina. The rain continues to fall. Nothing wrong with their skills. Every player catching the ball off their body in a position to make a pass, even though the last one was by no means perfect.
Just listening in there, it's going to be remain a yellow card. I thought I heard there. I hope I did hear that. I thought I heard it too. Right.
Judging by your expression, are you surprised that that's remained a yellow?
I am a little bit. It's great news for Samoa and for the game, but Argentina made such a wonderful start here. This was what we didn't see from them against England at all. Skills and handling in the wet, very, very impressive. Boffelli with a try. Boffelli about to try and convert from 7 metres out from that far side touch. Tough angle for a right-footed kicker. And as he dragged it a bit, it just grazed the inside of the upright, but through it goes. Argentina with 7 points, all of them to Emiliano Boffelli, and that was such an impressive start from Argentina in these conditions. But we're just going to have the explanation from Nick Berry, the referee, about the fate of Duncan Paiaoa.
The foul play's been referred, okay? He's landed on his side in the back, so it's going to remain a yellow card. So he will come back. Yeah, I think so, about that.
So come back in a couple of minutes.
Yes, I did have a slight panic there because we have got the monitor, and on the monitor above Samoa there's a yellow and red card. That's obviously a new invention to show that the yellow card's under review. Could end up being a red, but Paiaoa he'll be back in the game.
Just make it a pink card, isn't it? You mixed up, no, orange. It would be an orange card, a nice orange card. Anyway, it has turned entirely yellow now on the graphic on the monitor because Paiaoa will come back, as I said, in about 90 seconds time. And it was taken back in and then kicked out in the full mistake there by Argentina, by Santiago Carreras, the Gloucester fly half. And so 10 minutes gone here in Saint-Etienne. Argentina leads 7 points to 0, but coming back onto the field is Duncan Paiaoa, the Toulon fullback, after his interference with the man in the air earlier on, and he will be mightily relieved, and so too the Samoan fans.
Yeah, that must be a long 10 minutes when you're waiting for somebody to come and tell you whether your night's work is over or not.
Okay, here guys, 2 things.
So we have a line out to Samoa.
Calling 6, but you've got 7 in the line.
And number confusion from one side. So we're only about 16 metres out from the Argentinian line, down on that far side. As we look at it, Samoa playing from left to right, and their first real chance to attack here. And it will be Silala Lam, the Perpignan hooker, one of the Lam dynasty, who finds his man right at the heart, finds his captain Chris Vui, and now a good maul by Samoa. It was, and then it just takes a little bit of a pause, held at the back by the hooker. Silala Lam breaks away himself. He's rather on his own, but in goes Taumateni, the scrum half, and then it's picked up by Alanu Uesi. Huge second row, and he has another little go and feeds it on to James Lay, the loose head, the shaven-headed loose head with a black band around that head, and they're getting closer, Samoa, up to within 10 metres of the Argentinian line, all through the forwards at the moment. Paul Aloemil, the tight head, carries for a bit, and then the loose head again, Lay. just burrowing his way forward, nose to the ground, and then a little give to Fritz Lee. Tries to set it back, still there for Samoa. Turnover is good, Argentina have it. Great work in defence, and they try and run it from their own line, and all confusion in the in-goal area now. That's wonderful work in the end by Mateo Carreras, because he was in all sorts of trouble. The winger had to dance and skip his way past the bodies, and then the clearing kick is useful as well. All sorts of pressure there, but now it is the fullback back in the field, Paiawa, who carries a big fend as he took it into contact there. Samoa tried to move it on the Argentinian 10-metre line now. After poking away so close to the try line, they'll have to build again. 13 minutes gone in Saint-Etienne. Argentina 7, Samoa 0 in Pool D. England sitting at the head of this pool, and then Samoa, Japan, Argentina and Chile. And Samoa on the attack here. Both these sides having played just one game so far. Alana Uesi gives it on again, the distributor. And Argentina's defence is up to it so far. That's good, says Nick Berry. Samoa complain, but the strip is good. The ball is there for the Pumas. Thought it went forward, but it's held on by Gonzalo Bertranu, the scrum half. And now given on to a little pocket of forward, spilled. Real chance now for Samoa on the count. Oh my word, what a thump coming in. What a hit from Emiliano Boffelli. The tackle was good, but then after that the infringement comes. Penalty to Samoa. What a hit from Boffelli.
Well, both teams gambling at the breakdown. I know it's a greasy ball presentation is different, but it was a good turnover from Samoa. I think it was the tight head Paul Alo-Emile who had the ball, held on to it a fraction too long, delivered a lovely spin pass to Christian Lealiafano. Unfortunately, he fed him straight into the concrete mixer that was Emiliano Boffelli, who absolutely levelled the Samoan fly half.
Well, just in the slow motion replay, and it wasn't a sign of any sort of dizzying effect of impact, but his eyes just rolled back in his head as he took that hit. Lealiafano, he's absolutely fine. His scrum caps come off and he's ready to take this shot at goal here, this penalty. But that was one of those ones, as a defender, you know the timing is perfect for you, and as the man getting the ball, you know you're in bother.
Yes, and it just shows you the power of a legitimate hit. Bent at the waist, shoulder in, round the sternum. Fantastic tackle.
So Lealiafano, again the former Wallaby, still breathing hard, puffing out his cheeks, steps forward now, right-footed. Oh, he's hiked it left, and that's a wasted opportunity. It wasn't the most difficult kick, but it remains Argentina 7, Samoa 0. As Lealiafano puts back on his scrum cap, and Argentina will have the 22 restart. Let's go to Cortesín in Spain. Ian Carter with news of the Solheim Cup.
And a big moment just a few moments ago, Andrew, because Emily Pedersen, with a hole-in-one at the par 3 12th, has levelled up the match that she's playing alongside Maja Stark of Sweden against Jennifer Kupcho and Alison Corpus. It's on a knife edge this afternoon. Remember, America lead 4-0 from the morning foursomes, but they're only ahead in one of the matches, indeed none of the matches now. 2 matches are all square, and in the other 2 the Europeans are 1 up, so real knife edge stuff here as we start going down the stretch in these afternoon 4 balls.
Thank you, Ian. And all back to the clubhouse. Drinks on Emily Pedersen after that hole-in-one. Always great drama in any golf tournament. Europe with much to do in the 4 balls after being wiped by the USA in the foursomes. Argentina getting a great drive on in the maul. Went down. The referee says that's fine, but Argentina have it right on the 22 of Samoa. It all came from a poor clearing kick from Paiawa, the fullback for Samoa. And Argentina now getting on the front foot and deeper into the 22 again. Montoya, the hooker, with a bullocking run. 7-0 they lead with that try from Emiliano Boffelli, but this time the defence of Samoa works. They have the penalty and the chance to clear.
I felt that first one you went on the ball, you were just on the body.
Just listening to the explanation for it, but seeing who came up and made that hit and got that, secured that penalty.
Fritz Lee, I think it was, the referee saying, because he had one just before in another breakdown. Lee had got over, the open side flanker had got over the ball. The referee telling him that he was bound onto the player and not trying to take the ball. His second effort was much better, wins the penalty. Everybody understanding the value here of a good low tackle. The quicker you can get a player on the floor when the game is affected by rain, as it is at the moment, everything becomes slightly more of a lottery. Samoans certainly chopping hard on the Argentinian runners.
Everyone talks about the Six Nations as this bridge from winter into spring with the duration of it, and the Rugby World Cup's even longer, and it carries us from the heat of the summer to Marseille, how hot it was, and already it's feeling far more autumnal here in St Etienne. The rain is teeming down. Samoa with the line out on the far side, right on halfway. 7-0 they trail. Argentina with that early try from Emiliano Boffelli. Some of the hits coming in are shaking us all to our core here, even some distance away in the stands. Big thumps from huge men. Samoa try and keep it in play, but it only goes to Argentinian hands just inside their own half. A little step and a shimmy from Gonzalo Bertranu, man who plays for the Dragons in Newport territory. 53% Argentina, 47% Samoa. But Argentina certainly have had made better use of the ball and had the better of the early exchanges, leading to that Boffelli try. But Samoa back to a full complement of players. The mark is called by Christian Lealifanu, who's had a bit of a rocky game so far. He hoiked that penalty left. He's taken a couple of big hits. He's made a little bit of a mistake as well. I'd say it's not a vintage performance so far.
He's got to remember that mark is the same as a free kick. As soon as he moves, they can charge.
As mentioned, quite a birthday he's having. He was a New Zealand born and Australia capped and played in the World Cup for Australia. And actually a wonderful story as well, because he recovered from leukemia, Lealifanu, after a bone marrow transplant. Then he went on loan to Ulster shortly after that in 2017. A couple of seasons in Japan, very well travelled and a wonderful player at his very best. He hasn't been so yet this evening. Argentina win the line out just inside the Samoa half on that far side, and they come again. Little loop arounds and decoy runners, and then sly boot off the outside of the boot, but it was rather ill placed, and it's scooped up gratefully by Ben Lam. Montpellier wing carries it in with great power, bounces back the tackler, then a little stab through from Samoa, and the ball is still alive for them. Argentina thought it was heading towards touch, but kept in by Ruggie Suteni, the La Rochelle man. The contest by Argentina on the deck, though, is ferocious. You can hear a turnover cry by the referee, but the penalty goes to Samoa again.
It looked like there was two good turnovers. Whoa, careful.
Julian Montoya, the captain, is complaining to Nick Berry, the referee.
Turnover by White, then played back with Blue with the foot.
Again, to no avail. It will be a penalty to Samoa, right down in front of us, 5 metres from this near side touch, just inside the Samoa half. And they're feeling their way back into this game somehow, or they'll be given a chance to get back into it. A couple of penalties from Argentina.
Yeah, both teams understanding the value of putting the ball on the ground, in behind defences. The amount of physical contact in those tackles. You've got to find another way of engineering some space and just putting the ball on the floor, letting the greasy surface just mess around with the defenders, make them gamble. There was a bit of that there. The referee eventually picked a penalty out of all of it.
Lealifanu had no angle at all off his right boot to make much ground. No more than 10 metres made. Samoa with the line out on the Argentinian 10-metre line. A shorter line out, 5 on each side, and taken by Vui, the captain. Talmateni, the scrum half, feeds Lealifanu, and again the handling, well, it was a nice move, but it bounces. Huge knock on by Samoa in midfield, and Argentina with a scrum.
Yeah, off the top of the middle of the line out. Good ball from Vui, and then a flat missed pass.
Yes, it is. Knock on.
And a blind pop off the shoulder. That's high tariff. Straight in the face of the defence. Wet ball.
If you're Argentina, if you're Michael Cheika over the last couple of weeks after that England defeat, you'd be saying, we are better than this. And many other sides have had a shocking result in the pool stage of World Cups and have gone on to great things. In France in 2007, England against South Africa. And because of the nature of this side of the draw, Paul, if Argentina were to go through, then they would say, listen, we can still make it to a semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've got the quality within them to do it. I think they were rattled a little bit by how underwhelming they were against England. Early stages here, they took advantage when they had one man extra. It was a well-constructed try, but they need more content.
And the rain still coming down, and the black hair of Santiago Carreras, the Argentinian fly half, glistens as he shouts the orders. Takes it now. He's kicked half charge down though, but it's heading the way of Mateo Carreras, no relation to Santiago, and into touch it goes, in fact, over the top of the Argentinian winger, and it'll be a Samoan line out just inside the Argentinian half.
Definitely looking for a 50-22 straight from the scrum. They've faked to go right, pass back left. But blitz defence from Samoa caused the charge down.
Let's see our Argentinian line out just inside their own half. And the line out's working well for both sides. That one taken by Gajo, the loose head prop, who got up there. It's a rare sight indeed. A penalty advantage to Argentina. Samoa changing their mind on the maul defence, and Argentina make good ground with the maul, and they have a new advantage as well. Samoa offside, and as the ball goes to ground, they'll come back for it. A couple of penalties in quick succession there from Samoa.
Good drive from Argentina. Once they've been given the penalty, they had one crack at a backs move to go wide. Again, using the ball out the back, and Mateo Carreras will be very grateful that the ball was passed behind him, because Ben Lam, the Samoan left winger, who is of immense proportions, was bearing down. Had Carreras caught it, he would have been belted somewhat by the Samoan left wing.
Well, it's Fritz Lee who's singled out for being offside there, and Argentina are going to take a shot at goal, because the better of the two penalties, they had that option. Where do you want the penalty from? And the better of them is right in the centre of the field, and it's about 45 metres out, and Emiliano Boffelli is a place kicker par excellence. Does it for Edinburgh time and time again, and for Argentina, although it was a bit unsteady against England in their first game. But here is a chance for Boffelli to make it 10 points for his own personal collection, and for Argentina, the rain teeming down as he crouches over and does that very slow, deliberate cock of the head once and twice, and stares to the posts, and again, and then sets back on his heels and steps forward. He's bringing this one round beautifully. Had the distance and some to spare as well. He's got a big old hoof on him, and Argentina move out to a 10-0 lead. Nearly 25 minutes gone. 45
metres out straight in front is no problem at all in terms of distance for Boffelli. You could add another 15 metres to that and he'd still be comfortable. Stroked it smoothly over. Samoa don't want him to get too much further ahead, I wouldn't suggest.
No, Samoa have been very competitive so far without really being too incisive when they get near or into the Argentinian 22, but Argentina taking their points when they're given the opportunity. Two chances they've had, and they scored a try and a penalty. Bit of a crumpled heap on the floor just inside the Argentinian 22, and Nick Berry saying Argentina kept hold of that ball. Samoa thinking that they might have lost it, and it's been teased back, and the caterpillar ruck, the legs of two forwards stretching back to give Bertrano, the scrum half, a bit of protection. That's a very good clearing kick as well from the number 9. Not quite as good as he thought it was. They're just coming back down the touchline. It'll be a Samoa line out on the Argentinian 10-metre line.
And in the identical position just a few moments ago, Samoa went to the middle of the line out, off the top, made a mistake straight from first phase and gave the ball back. They can't afford to do that again. They need to build some momentum up, work themselves, if they can't break the line, work themselves through some phases and put the Argentinian defence under some stress.
Okay, you come forward with 5 and then you've added another one.
So Chris Vui, the Samoan captain, is getting a talking to at the moment, again about the numbers in the line out, because they said one thing and then presented another to the line out. But it is Samoa's ball, and it's Selala Lam in his red scrum cap, red and blue, the colours of Samoa. Good take at the back as well. There's Theo McFarlane getting up there. Advantage to Samoa this time. Argentina jumping across as the ball was on the deck, and they're going to come back for that penalty now, which is on the Argentinian 10-metre line. So this is kickable, although Leali Fano wild with his last attempt.
Landing dangerously on a blue player.
I wonder if that'll have an effect on the decision here, and what they do. It's a kick that you would probably fancy, and they're going to have another shot at goal.
No, just here, 10 metres off it. Thanks,
yeah, just on the cross of the 15 and the 10-metre line, plus 4 or 5 feet for Lealiafano. Again, distance not a problem. His first kick he dragged left. He'd absolutely had his bones rattled by Boffelli just before it, so perhaps that had an impact. Unbelievable hands at the back of the line out from Theo McFarlane, though. Plucking the ball from the air one-handed. He's a magnificent athlete. Everyone's seen him play in the Premiership for Saracens. He's superb find for them.
Tidy up those numbers for the line out.
So there are a couple of big screens in the corners of the Stade Geoffroy Guichard, and they show the clock counting down. 20 seconds remaining for Leali Fano. And again, just on the wrong sort of angle for a right-footed kicker. Stepping casually forward now, and he's brought this one around beautifully. Is he going to get there though? Oh, bounces off the upright and through. The only thing that could have denied it was not having the legs, but it got there just. It was dying its last breath there. And he's smiling as he puts his scrum cap back on. Samoa have their first points. 10-3 Argentina lead.
And exactly as I said, distance no problem. Landed it on the crossbar.
I mean, it gave the crossbar a huge rattle, and all the water was shaken off it as the ball hit it. There we are. We were watching the replay of the smile, because he thought he had it. He went down to pick up his team, and then he went, I'm not actually sure I've got this. It did get there. Samoa have their first points on the board. 28 minutes gone in Saint-Etienne. Argentina 10, Samoa 3 in Pool D. Games to come in this one. Argentina 2 games in Nantes on the west coast against Chile and then Japan. Samoa played Japan in Toulouse and then England in Lille. Argentina with the ball again up over the Samoan 10-metre line, 10 metres from this near side touch as well. Now they move it right, and they think they see a gap through the middle. The ball is spilled. Olay, the loose head, picks it up for Samoa. Now it's moved quickly. Opportunity for Samoa. Up over the 10-metre line they go. It's the forwards. Keep it. Carry it in. Leali Fano. Another advantage, I think, to Samoa. No, knock-on advantage was over. So it's ball now with Argentina. And the kick is long. A little bit too long. And Samoa, Leali Fano calls for the mark inside the 22 and just takes pause for breath, because the game has been played at quite a pace so far.
Good again from Samoa. Strong hits in the middle of midfield, dislodged the ball. They had a little look left and then came back to the middle of the field. Leali Fano, right decision to kick for the corner, didn't get the contact that he wanted. Takes the mark and makes a good touch there, just takes the sting out of the game.
There's a number of players, you understand the dynamics of migration and movement in the Pacific Islands and Australia and New Zealand. There are a number of players on the Samoan side who were born in Samoa and moved to New Zealand, then to Australia. And there's only a few who are stayed in Samoa. It's an economic necessity for so many families and players to move, and it creates a great difficulty for Samoa, for Tonga, for Fiji to have the continuity and have the players in one location. Penalty to Argentina just inside their own half. First penalty in a while has gone the way of the Pumas. And that's why the rule that you were talking about beforehand, Paul, is so important. The rule that whereby Leali Fano, who played for Australia, and a couple of New Zealanders as well, can now play for their countries of ancestry after 3 years out.
Yeah, because there's plenty of those guys who've been capped perhaps by New Zealand once or twice, and then discarded or fallen out of favour, and then you're trapped internationally. You're trapped for the rest of your career. If that happens to you at 21, you play till you're 35. That's a long time to be ineligible for anybody. So I think it's a fantastic rule change. The likes of Stephen Luatua coming back to Samoa, bringing all the experience that they've had from playing in the Northern Hemisphere and all around the world, but also bringing what they bring back as the athlete themselves. So I think it's a great change, and it strengthens the World Cup.
I'd say you did admirably there, because I was in turmoil with a massive cramp in my hamstring, so I decided to do the rest of the commentary standing up. Oh my word, huge hit. That's more than a cramp in the hamstring of the Argentinian carrier there, who was Choco Barres, took it in, and he was really cut in half by Silala Lam, the hooker. So we're just inside the Samoan 22 now, and Julian Montoya, the hooker, the captain for Argentina, does a good bit of carrying again. Argentina holding onto the ball well in these conditions. I say these conditions because the rain continues to plummet down here. It doesn't look too bad as you look down at the players, but then you look up at the floodlights and you see it curtain coming down, and very difficult for both sides. 10-3 Argentina lead. 31 and a half minutes on the clock, and Argentina moving it right just outside the 22. Oh, and the tackle is missed by Samoa. Argentina deeper into the 22 now, still with that ball and still able to attack on that far side, about 18 metres out. flinging that ball around. And again, the tackling from Samoa is fierce, as we have come to expect over many years of hard hits. And Tamateni, the scrum half, is desperately trying to persuade the referee that Samoa had taken it there, and then the ball is pinged loosely. Lifano picks it up, and then the fullback Paiawa hoofs it downfield, and it hobbles rather drunkenly into touch on that far side. It'll be an Argentinian line out just inside the Samoa half. Oh, they've taken it quickly, and it's a clear run for Mali and the fullback. Oh, one step, there was covering defence scampering across for Samoa. 10 metres out, Argentina have it. Samoa caught napping with a quick line out. A juggle by Kremer, the open side for Argentina. And the Pumas come again, and they fling it wide, and it might be on for Argentina here. A step in field from Carreras, Mateo Carreras, taken down by Samoa. Playing advantage to Argentina, crashing on in through the forward, 7 metres out. Now right in midfield, right under the posts. 4 metres out, Argentina. Penalty, they come back. They're playing advantage for Samoa offside. But my word, that was, well, quick thinking at the line out, and suddenly Samoa were in all sorts of trouble.
They've just put in a massive defensive effort, Samoa. Selala Lam to the fore, 2 incredible hits, and then eventually the turnover after Tamateni got involved. Lealiafano moved it left, and the ball was cleared towards the touchline. I looked at Samoa, and about 7 or 8 of their players in the middle of the field were not into a kick chase. They were praying for the ball to go into touch and the game to slow down. Well spotted by Argentina on the far right hand side. They took the quick line out with Samoa walking.
Chris Fu was just being given an explanation by the referee, Emiliano Boffelli, right in front of the post. Argentina take the shot and take the 3 points, gratefully received, because they know they're in a fight here, but they have a 10-point lead, and they're keeping that scoreboard moving. 34 minutes gone in Saint-Etienne, and it's the Argentinian supporters on their feet and waving those flags again, because that's becoming a significant margin.
Yeah, it's significant and consistent. Just watching Samoa move back towards the halfway line. The fact that Argentina have been able to work their way through some phases, some powerful carries, Kremer and Alemano hurling themselves at the line, forcing Samoa into manful defence. It's clearly taken a bit out of them.
Kremer takes the restart, and there's a bit of confusion there because there were 2 Argentinian players going for it. Guido Petti, the second row, as well as Kremer, the flanker, and then there was a little knock forward, so that's a mistake at the restart from Argentina, and it gives Samoa a scrum just outside the Argentinian 22.
Yeah, did it go back early, did it? That's fine.
I was watching the replay, and again, that's a case of 2 people and no clear shout as to who's claiming that one.
No, they were over-resourced without knowing who was doing what. Nevertheless, a scrum for Samoa, 28 metres out, 17 in from the right-hand touchline. They can play both sides of the scrum if they can get a solid scrummage set. They've got Lealiafano hiding behind the scrum. He's got his right winger, Wong, hiding behind him. Potential for them to break to the right-hand side.
Just keep it on, please.
4.5 minutes to go on the clock here in the first half. Good news is I've recovered entirely from my cramp. It was nasty for a while. I mean, a cramp in your hamstring, honestly, I know it's not just a toe cramp there or a finger cramp. It was quite serious. Happened once in the Wimbledon Centre Court Comfort. I nearly kicked John McEnroe in the shins, and you don't want to do that. Scrum is good from Samoa, and they get the penalty advantage just outside the 22. So a free attack here. Lealiafano's little stab through his charge down. They'll come back for the penalty. Now Samoa have to take some points here as we go into the final minutes.
Lucette stepping out, not staying square.
Of the first half,
And Nika, did we have an offside as well? Okay.
What would your decision be here, Samoan captain Paul Grayson?
Yeah, obviously you got a scrum penalty.
I would always take the
11
points.
was offside.
As a former goal kicker, not as a Samoan captain.
Okay, all right. Yes, I've seen guys.
They are doing that. So Lealiafano hopefully nudge this over. Where are we? 36 and a half minutes into the first half. It'll give his forwards a breather. Hopefully he'll make the kick and drag the scoreline back in, but very powerful scrummage. And they did go right off it.
Stop the shot clock, please.
Again, I'm not... I mean, I said only the first scrum how vehemently I disagree with the pack weights that were put on the monitor that Argentina were considerably heavier. They're absolutely not. When did you used to, not you necessarily, but the players used to exaggerate their weights for official programme weights and match weights?
Manipulate the weight and the height. And some guys thought they were too tall. I could mention somebody who thought 6'5" was too tall for a centre, so always listed himself at 6'3".
Oh, really? Well, if you're listening, Will Greenwood, we're watching Christian Lealifano. 20 seconds to go on the shot clock. This to give Samoa a second penalty. Oh, he's done it again. He's hooked it wildly. So that's 2 he's missed from 3. And you cannot do that in a match which we suspected was going to be close. And it might not be close if Lealifano can't find the points from the tee, and that will start to feed through the side in terms of just morale as well. They could be at 9 points, they're at 3, Argentina at 13, and Pumas escape there. Oh, a little kick through the middle. It was actually touched, and now Talmeni, the bleached blonde haired scrum half for Samoa, shifts it right, and then it's sent to the heavens, and it's well placed as well. And the hit comes in from Nigel Awong, the Samoan winger, and Argentina have given up this ball, and then the penalty goes to Samoa, so they're going to get another shot at this here straight away. That was a beautifully placed kick. The chase was good, but landing just outside the 22. The hit came in, the turnover, and then Argentina infringing, and so it's an easier kick than the last one. Oh, they're sticking in the car. He's lost his nerve now.
Well, none of this would be happening if he'd made the previous kick. Hopefully he makes a decent touch.
Well, that's what the way you'd think about it is you'd say, yeah, this isn't a chance that we would have got anyway. This wouldn't have happened if they'd landed that last kick. But the kick he would have had there, Lealifano, would have been slightly easier than the last one. Would you not persevere?
It was almost identical to where the last one was. There are 2 ways that can play in your brain. One is the last thing you want when you've just missed a 5-footer is another 5-footer, but there is a different option in rugby. You can turn that down and say, do you know what, we've got 1.5 minutes to go, maybe we might be able to nick 7.
Well, this would be an absolute bonus for Samoa if they could score a try here. They're only 10 metres out. They have to win the ball at the line out though, and they don't. Argentina steal it, and now Bertrand is under pressure though in the in-goal area, and so Samoa will have the 5-metre scrum. My goodness, Argentina are being given the chances to escape here, but actually Samoa are given opportunity after opportunity.
Yeah, and the unintended consequence of a brilliant bit of work at the front of the line out from Argentina as the ball bobbles on the ground is it's handed Samoa a scrum. They were dominant in the last scrum to win a penalty. It's a genuine opportunity now after all those events for Samoa to put the squeeze on Argentina in the scrum here.
This is a much better option for Samoa than the line out. So 1 minute remaining in this first half in St. Etienne. Argentina 13, Samoa 3. Samoa with 2 missed penalties by Christian Lealifano, and now a 5-metre scrum and a 15-metre blindside where Nigel Awong is just clearing the dirt from his studs and ready to see if there's something on offer. Samoa moving forward, down goes the scrum. They'll do it again. And now some chests are being pushed and some hard stares are being given, and you're seeing Kramer, the bearded flanker, staring down Theo McFarlane, who rather towers over Kramer, and Kramer's not a small man. But I think Argentina know that Samoa have the edge in the scrums here. This is going to be hard work for Argentina to survive here.
Both those guys are going down simultaneously. No one's dominant there.
Nobody's dominant, says the referee.
Okay, let's go.
And the other variable is that the pitch is not really stable after the soaking. It's had a little bit of blue sky starting to appear over the stadium. But all we're doing here is giving Nigel Awong a slightly bigger blindside here as they creep a few metres further infield. So 39 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock, which has stopped. And it starts to tick over again here. Argentina 13, Samoa 3, and it's Samoa's ball, 5 metres out. Down they go to set this scrum again. And here is Samoa's chance to score their own first try. Scrum is stable from Argentina, so Tamateni is going to have to take it to scrum half. Oh, and he's lost it forward. And Argentina survive, and the clock goes red. But Argentina attack from deep. Samoa scrambling back to try and get cover there. Out to the 22 they come. Penalty advantage as well to Argentina, and Samoa slipping off the tackles now. Argentina have the advantage, so they'll still be able to kick this to touch and play on. Knock on there by Argentina, so back for the penalty, and we'll play on. No, Argentina could say, we don't want the line out, we just want to head with our 10-point lead, because they are still deep inside their own half, but they could get up to the Samoan 22. I think Julian Montoya, I think they're just going to... Oh, no. Carreras was looking, the fly half, Santiago Carreras, as if he was just going to kick it square out, but he has gone as deep as he can. Hasn't made much ground, but it will be an Argentinian line out inside the Samoan half.
As the Samoan scrum half Tamateni broke to the right, he just went for a little double pump, whether he'd not quite got the ball in his hands perfectly or not, but his hesitation meant that in the collision he threw the ball on the floor, gave Argentina a chance to escape.
Well, so far this half has been a tale of it. Oh, that's not straight line out, surely. We're looking right down at it, but the referee says it's fine. Argentina have it. It went off at an angle out of the hands of Montoya, and into touch they go again, so that will be that now. Half time, the referee's whistle brings to an end that half, which, as I mentioned, has a few missed opportunities for Samoa, because Christian Lealifano has missed 2 from 3 kicks, and in the end he rather lost his nerve and decided to go for the corner instead. But Samoa have a bit of a gap to close in the second half, because Argentina, with that try from Emiliano Boffelli, all the points from the winger, in fact, Argentina lead 13 points to 3.
Andrew, thank you very much indeed. We'll be straight back for the start of the second half with Andrew Cotter and Paul Grayson. It is Claire McDonnell and Nick Wallace with you on Drive. Let's update you on some of the other news headlines happening today. Ukraine's military says it carried out a successful strike on the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Navy in Crimea. One serviceman is reported to be missing. This comes as President Zelensky is on a visit to Canada. He met with President Trudeau and is due to address Parliament later. Just yesterday, he was in Washington, where President Biden promised more US military assistance for Kyiv. Just a short while ago, I spoke to Sergei Radchenko, Professor of International Relations at Johns Hopkins University, and I started by asking him about that strike in Crimea.
Well, I think details of this are still coming through. It is purported to be a missile strike, probably something like Storm Shadow. That shows Ukraine's capabilities. It shows that Ukraine can harass Russian military installations, facilities in Crimea, as they have been doing for some time now. And that, of course, will make President Putin a little more insecure, which I think is good.
What about strategically about where this strike happened? Because access to the waters in this area, that's really crucial, isn't it? Because Russia has been blockading an awful lot of that coastline, which has had huge implications, hasn't it?
Well, I would not overestimate the significance of this one strike or even the harassment by Ukrainian naval drones. It is more symbolic at this stage. I think the main action is still happening along the front line where the Ukrainian counteroffensive is unfolding. We're still to see whether this counteroffensive will succeed in capturing as much territory as the Ukrainians hoped at the start. They're not quite there yet. But harassing the Russians in Crimea, yes, is part of this broader strategy. It just shows that Russians cannot feel secure in the territory that they occupy.
President Zelensky continues his global tour. He always is, popping up around the world and in talks, in conversation, whipping up support, ongoing support for the offensive at home. He is in Canada at the moment. He's met with President Trudeau, due to address Parliament later. What will he be angling for?
Well, President Zelensky has been angling for two things, really. First is political and economic support, and second, military support of Ukraine. He's been taking this agenda around the world, to the United Nations, to the United States, His visit to the Northern Hemisphere, Northern America, has been overshadowed by a couple of issues. The first came up in relations between Ukraine and Poland, where Poland banned the import and sale of Ukrainian grain. That suggested a certain amount of friction between Ukraine and its one ally at least. And the second thing that overshadowed the visit is the fact that President Biden has refused to provide the ATACMS, the missiles that Ukraine has been asking for. And that just shows that Biden is still very, very cautious when it comes to the fear of escalation. But despite the setbacks, I think President Zelensky is getting at least some things he's been hoping to get, and the visit will be successful.
At the same time, we know that Vladimir Putin has decided to turn up the heat with a huge increase in defence spending next year. We've had this reported from Bloomberg News, who say it's seen a draft budget document that will almost double military spending from 3.9% GDP to 6%. That is a massive increase. Getting support from all corners of the world is absolutely essential for Zelensky, isn't it, in the face of that?
That's right. It has to be said. I have seen that budget that Russia that has been leaked. It does show massive increase in military spending, something like 6%. What that shows is that Russia is counting on a long war. It's preparing for a long war, and it's regearing its economy towards effectively serving the purposes of war. Under those circumstances, and at a time when Ukraine is still being obviously invaded, attacked by Russia, when Russia is targeting critical infrastructure in Ukraine, etc., it is very important for the West to continue supporting Ukraine. And yet we still, we're starting to see fatigue in some quarters, not least in parts of the Republican Party, for example, in the United States.
That is Sergei Radchenko, Professor of International Relations at Johns Hopkins University, talking to me earlier. 22 minutes to 6.
Let's have a look at the other news around this evening. Labour is planning to give more power to the government's spending watchdog if it wins the next general election. It'll let the Office for Budget Responsibility publish forecasts and analysis of any tax and spending changes. The party says it wants to avoid a repeat of Liz Truss's mini-budget. Earlier, I spoke to our political correspondent, Jess Parker.
Well, this is a neatly timed announcement by Labour because they are tying it to the fact that it was just over a year ago, so the 23rd of September, that Liz Truss came forward and her government with the mini-budget. So you'll remember there were a lot of tax cuts, and the impact of it is that there were days of turmoil in the markets, a fall in the value of the pound, rising costs of borrowing and mortgage rates, which people, of course, still talk about today. And so what Labour's trying to do here really politically is remind people of that period of turmoil under a Conservative government, albeit a different Prime Minister, because obviously Rishi Sunak took over not long afterwards. And I think as well try and paint itself as a party of fiscal responsibility, because clearly Labour comes under attack quite frequently for things it's done in the past, its economic or spending record. And I think Labour are trying to turn that on the Tories as much as they can.
To what extent, then, is this just political virtue signalling, raising our memories of a ghastly period of economic whatever happened last year, I don't know what you want to call it, implosion. But now we've got this Labour saying, we're going to do this.
Yeah, what they're talking about is legislation. So they are saying that they will put it into law that any massive or major spending or tax event, fiscal event, must have OBR analysis. And as well, they want to make sure that these big fiscal events happen in the autumn, and they say that'll give businesses time to prepare. So it is a policy that they're saying they would put into law, but they're not being shy about the fact that they're tying it to the politics of what happened under Liz Truss. There has been some other reactions. The Conservatives have been critical of Labour's economic record, saying the OBR was kind of created to clear up, as they put it, Gordon Brown's spending binge. But actually, George Osborne, the former Conservative Chancellor who created the OBR when he was Chancellor, he actually says the reforms from Labour, in his view, are sensible and pragmatic. So some mixed reviews, but it would be something that was put into law.
Jessica Parker, our political correspondent. More political news. Labour are also refusing to commit to building HS2 from London Euston to Manchester. The Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves has told the Newscast podcast that she'd like to see the project delivered in full, but she'll have to see what the costs are. A comedian who used to work with Russell Brand says he had a reputation for getting angry or a bit nasty at women who wouldn't sleep with him. Cole Parker worked with Russell Brand between 2000 and 2002. He's been speaking to Newsnight.
Russell's name is synonymous in the modelling industry in London from the early to late 2000s. And a lot of the modelling agents would sit down and tell their models, tell their stable, warn them about him. People go back to his house and they'd fool around. And then if they didn't want to go all the way, he had a reputation for sometimes getting angry or a bit nasty if people wouldn't, sleep with him the first time. And given the fact that he was, a celebrity, very good looking man, very funny, he didn't really need to sort of operate that way. There would have been plenty of people who would have been happy to get themselves involved in a dalliance with him. He didn't have to go with people who are reluctant to do so.
Russell Brand hasn't responded to these latest allegations, but has strongly denied any wrongdoing, criminal or otherwise, so far. Police have released new pictures of 10-year-old Sarah Sharif, who was found dead in Woking in Surrey last month. They hope the photos showing her in a headscarf will encourage more people to come forward with information. And scientists are hoping that a handful of space debris will give them new clues about the Earth's formation 4 billion years ago. It's come from the asteroid Bennu and is being carried in a NASA capsule, which is due to land in the Utah desert this weekend. Right, we're going to be going back to the rugby very shortly. Argentina leading Samoa, as I predicted they would, but there's a few more stories around, and the time is, where are we? 17:41 or 19 minutes to 6 in old money.
Thank you very much indeed, Nick. Wonderful tributes coming in to Maddie Cusack. Determined, resilient and strong. That is how Sheffield United have described one of their players, Maddie Cusack, who has died at the age of 27. Maddie became the first player to make 100 appearances for Sheffield United last season. The cause of her death hasn't yet been announced. Our colleagues at BBC Newsbeat have been talking to Chloe, who used to play with her.
We played in the same team at Aston Villa for around 4 years. And then even in the team, we were both centre midfielders. So we had a really, close bond on the pitch. We shared the pitch. And obviously when you're part of that midfield unit, you're kind of the workhorse of the team. We had a really have to be connected, as players and as people. And myself, Maddie, and obviously other players that were involved had that for the years that we played together. She was probably one of those players, well, I know for a fact she was one of those players that she would have been horrible to play against. Nobody liked playing against her at training, but actually she was the best teammate. And, at times, we used to make jokes with her. She was at times a little bit clumsy and she'd make everybody laugh. But she was such a bubbly character. She'd, again, set the standards for herself. She had the highest standards for herself and others. And, she was vocal in the changing rooms, but she always had that light-hearted side where she made just everything sound achievable. If we really worked together, and the team was her absolute priority.
And from all the tributes, you can tell she was well loved in the game. Just how far did that love stretch?
Oh, massively. I mean, you can see, even from the announcements yesterday, I think, it's really shook every tier in the football pyramid, and that's kind of women's and men's. Anyone that Maddie knew, she was loved by so many people. Every person that she kind of had contact with, you couldn't dislike Maddie. I've never met anyone that disliked her. She was loved by so many people for so many things, and she was such a role model to people that she would never have understood or had the awareness, because she was so humble of how much she was a role model for so many people. And I'm talking kind of teammates, youngsters, but also I'm older than Maddie, but actually I looked at her as someone to really look up to because of the person that she is. And yeah, it's really, really shocked the football world and all the families family involved. And yeah, it's a really difficult time, but she was loved by everybody.
There we go. That is Chloe, who was speaking to BBC Newsbeat, who used to play with Maddie Cusack, who was a former player at Sheffield United, whose death was announced today, coming up on 5:45.
Let's head now to Spain and get an update on the Solheim Cup. Europe were wiped out in the foursomes, but they're fighting back in the four balls, and our golf correspondent Ian Carter can tell us about a moment to remember for Denmark's Emily Pedersen.
That's right, a hole-in-one at the 12th for Emily Pedersen, and unfortunately it was, from a European point of view, then trumped by Jennifer Kupcho at the next hole, who made the birdie that restored the Americans' lead in that match. So Kupcho and Korpers are one up after 14 holes against Pedersen and Maya Stark, but we have seen a wonderful moment just a few seconds ago for Gemma Dreibra, who holed with a wedge from short of the green at the 16th, and that was for birdie, but Rose Zhang equaling it with her birdie. So the top match is all square. The Europeans are one up with 3 to play. Maguire and Hall against Thompson and Vu. They're up in the bottom match as well by 2 holes, 2 up with 5 to play, Sagander and Grant. It's on a knife edge this afternoon session. A reminder that the Americans won the morning foursomes by 4 points to 0, so Europe do need to hit back.
Ian, thanks very much indeed. So exciting, as is the rugby. Going back there shortly. But just time to tell you, the first ever Women's Nations League sees England host Scotland in that opening group match at Sunderland Stadium of Light later. If England reach the final, they will qualify Team GB's football team for next year's Olympics in Paris. They were a crucial game. Earlier today, Scotland coach Pedro Martinez Loza signed a contract extension to keep him in charge of the women's team there until 2027. So straight back to France, Andrew Cotter and Paul Grayson. Second half of Argentina v Samoa.
Yes, thank you. In the Stade Geoffroy Guichard in Saint-Etienne. Again, if you don't know your French geography, it's down in the southeast, not too far from Lyon, which is the second biggest city in France, and Saint-Etienne hosting the 2007 Rugby World Cup. Remember Scotland-Italy here, as that was a decider in a pool stage to go through to the quarterfinals, and Scotland scraping that one. And into the quarterfinals they went. We're at an earlier stage of proceedings here, but in the pool stage, Argentina, and they are in control at the moment. Argentina, if they were to win here, they're in a very, very good position to go through, even with that defeat against England in the opening match, because Argentina have games against Chile and Japan, both in Nantes on the west coast to come. But Samoa, 10 points adrift as the second half gets underway, and in the blue they are playing from right to left as we look down from the very, very steep stands here in this stadium. 40,000 capacity. Most of the fans here happy because most of the fans are Argentinian fans. Is there a way back into this for Samoa? I don't see any changes at half-time from the two sides, but Samoa will be looking for a great change in their fortunes from the kicking tee. Christian Lealifano missing 2 from 3, which really would have got Samoa back into things.
Yeah, absolutely. Every point vital from their point of view, certainly in the second half. Now that the rain has stopped hammering down, there's a little bit of peace on that front, so the ball easier to handle. It's always start with a dry ball as Argentina get ready to throw.
There's a bit of treatment though. Paul Aloemil, the tight head for Samoa, is down receiving treatment. He's getting back up now to his feet, and that's an effort in itself. The man is 21.5 stone, but he's coming back in to take his position in the back line here, defensive position, because Argentina are rumbling forward with them all, and they're up over the Samoan 10-metre line, 15 metres from that far side touch, and it splinters in a breakaway group. It's taken down by Argentina, so they come away with that ball now, the Pumas, and then it's spilled forwards, but went backwards from Samoa, so it's still there for Argentina to try and steal. Samoa eventually come up with it but now right on the 22, 50 metres from this near side touch now. Tamateni, the blonde-haired scrum half for Samoa, is sent scrabbling onto his backside by an impact, but he's back on his feet and teasing that ball clear, told to use it by the referee. Gets the clean kick away, heads the way of Emiliano Boffelli, scorer of all of Argentina's 13 points so far, feeds it infield to Matias Moroni, and the outside centre takes it into contact. Good pick up there by the Luced Gajo, and now Argentina making some ground, but then the ball is lost in contact. And the game is rather breaking up here in the early stages in the second half, and they'll come back for that knock-on from Argentina. Samoa scrum midway between the 10-metre line and their 22.
So much going on in that passage of play, not least a couple of errant passes, just generally followed up by a thunderous hit. Argentina got it wrong playing away from their line-out, turned it over. Lovely little touch from Fritz Lee. We're in a football stadium, and that was absolutely spot on. Nice little nudge to his teammate, then some more carnage, then a clearing kick, then another knock on. Everyone takes a breather. Scrum down, Samoa ball.
So Argentina have made a change, and the rather ancient by sporting standards Francisco Gomez Codella, the Leon prop, comes on, 39 years old. He's taking his place at tight head for the Pumas, replacing Eduardo Bejo, the Newcastle man. There are a few Newcastle players in the Argentinian squad. 4 of them in the 23 today.
I'm happy with that.
So ready to scrum here, 15 metres from that far side touch. It is Samoa ball. And Michael Check has just seen himself on the big screen and decided, it looks as if he's about to issue instructions, then saw himself on the screen, decided then that he didn't want to do that. Ready to go. And Jonathan Tamateni, again, that long, straight, bleached blonde hair as he feeds that scrum. Argentina were starting to get the edge in the scrum there, but Samoa come over there, a lovely kick through the middle, and taken by Samoa, and the diving man was rather hit hard in the head. Great pick-up by Leo Lefano, who's had a torrid time in the first half, and then he's stripped, and a penalty now to Argentina. So Leo Lefano's unhappy birthday goes on. Great work by Pablo Matera, I think it was, for Argentina, and a penalty to the Pumas.
Always a gamble putting the ball in behind from first phase, but they really did it well and regathered it. Argentina did so well to get a player into the backfield to cover the second kick, which would have got in behind them. Managed to really recover quickly.
I'll find out for
and
you.
Pablo Matera, he prowls somewhat, doesn't he? He's always looking like if there's going to be an opportunity to get involved, whether it's good or bad, he's going to do it.
Yes, indeed, the clearing kick from that penalty gives Argentina the line out midway between the 10-metre line and the Samoan 22. Safe take at the back of the line out. The Argentinian line out has been very impressive. The maul starts to work as well, and Samoa rather disorganised here in defence of that maul, and it's still going forward, and it's working well for Argentina. They might end up with a penalty here. Deep into the 22 they go, and there is the advantage as Samoa coming in at the side of the rolling maul, and Argentina looking impressive here. Great pick-up as well as they play with that advantage and move it wide. 3 backs waiting out there to try and fashion something, and it's carried in by Emiliano Boffelli. Then the fumble forward by the scrum half Bertrano, so they'll come back for that Argentina penalty.
Get a number for the tackle off the ground as well.
And just going to have a word from Nick Berry, the referee.
Okay. So you've got 2 options here. You've got 6 blue changing his bind coming down the side, but there was also a player on the ground who's tackled a player. So we've got one about 15 out where my AR is. Which one would you like? Or the one where this AR is? Okay.
A wide selection of penalties for Julian Montoya to choose from, where he wants this penalty, and he's chosen the one that's I would say it's 6 and half a dozen really, the options on either side of the pitch, but it's just inside the 22, and they're not going for the post here, Argentina. They scent blood and they're sending it into the corner.
We saw the pictures inside the Argentinian dressing room at half-time. Michael Checker, as animated as he ever gets, which is not very, but he was laying down the law, I think, in terms of the intensity of the start to the second half. Really test what looked like a leggy Samoa at the end of the first half. Really put the pressure on early. They've definitely upped their intensity.
5-metre line out, and the Argentinian fans start to sing in the Stade Geoffroy Guichard, and they take the line out safely and now try and maul towards this line. Can Samoa defend it? They've been struggling with the maul defence so far, Samoa, and again Argentina moving forward but also towards touch there, but now closer to the line. 2 metres out, Argentina driving in now. The bodies pile in the light blue and white, and now it's there for them, just short of the line, 1 metre short.
Listen.
And the referee says
the maul's over, he's pick and drove, and that's a mess, okay? So it's an unplayable. I don't want.
He says it's a mess and unplayable.
Okay, so we're going to play.
So they're going to have an Argentina scrum 5 metres out.
And as quickly as that maul was moving towards the line, when it did collapse, not illegally, there's the referee says there was a pick and go, which means a different set of laws come into play. But when the referee blows his whistle, says that was a mess, just means let's get back a little bit of order, keep possession with the attacking team, scrum down.
I've just noticed this little box here, black box in the corner of the ground, a big black box in fact, with a clear window front. And the people who are sitting there, what a view they have, and they must be dignitaries, they must be very special people indeed. Anyway, or some sort of competition winners, but they have a wonderful... They can't hear this noise though, they're inside, and the Argentina fans are starting to bounce up and down again and waving their shirts and their flags. And Argentina again, this time scrum, 5 metres out, 5 metres from this near side touch, has gone down in the front rows. But the referee says, use it. Boffelli again. Oh, he's absolutely thumped by Fritz Lee. No joy this time for the Argentina wing as he comes in field. Argentina still with it though, 7 metres out. The forwards try to power their way through the middle. Up to within 3 metres. Kramer on the charge. Kramer brought down the flanker, 2 metres short. And all around the ground, the Argentina fans are bouncing, celebrating already. The try's not there yet. They have a penalty advantage. And they'll have that penalty now. And listen to this ground. Argentina, after being... It's a high tackle penalty.
Indirect contact with not a high degree of danger. Penalty only.
11 blue, high tackle.
I had indirect contact with not a high degree of danger, so no more than a penalty. You know, think of where Argentina were against England, stunned, their fans silent, their players absolutely cowed, and now this place is just alive with Argentina hope.
Yeah, it's awesome. Fans tap into exactly what's going on the field. They get on their feet, they start bouncing up and down, making a hell of a racket. But Argentina, they know they've got Samoa in a bit something of a chokehold at the moment.
Sticking it into the corner again from the penalty, so going for the line out. They know they've been unchallenged at that line out really. And we're watching a replay, just a high-ish hit, if I can use that phrase, coming in from Ben Lamb on Boffelli, who's very quick to let the referee know that it was a high hit as well. But penalty only, no more than that. Line out, 5 metres out, taken imperiously at the back. Here come Argentina, the gap's open, and then closed quickly. Penalty Samoa! Oh, the Samoan player is down injured after, and he's in real trouble there after making the tackle. So the penalty is given because the Argentina player was tackled and then went again. But I think there's real concern. The medics were on very, very quickly.
Yeah, I do. I think that was a good tackle there.
Well, it was a good tackle, but we'll watch it again in replay. The sound of it you might have heard. Talk us through this one, Paul.
Argentina brave, went to the back of the line out, ran a back peel. Emiliano Boffelli coming in off the wing. I think it was Tamua Manu, the inside centre.
I think it might have been it was either him or Serteni, his outside centre partner. We'll just have another look at it, but it was an enormous hit, but he's done himself what looks like real damage in the process. Thankfully he's sitting up now and he's actually chatting away to the medics, so it doesn't look as if it might end his game, but well, I think it might actually now looking at him because he's looking rather groggy.
Yeah, everybody jammed in as they work the back peel. Argentina. Manu was one in, Serteni then jammed in and hit Boffelli with everything he got. It was a magnificent tackle, gave him the opportunity, gave the other players the opportunity to get on the ball, forced the turnover and penalty.
But that's commitment as well. When you think about that, that's just I'm going to save my country here, because Argentina have been threatening a try for so long. You felt sure it was coming there, and Serteni has just put his body in harm's way, and I think it's probably ended his game. But suddenly Samoa have a chance to regroup here, take on some drinks as they're doing in this little gathering right beside the posts, and they can clear and they can try to build their way back into it.
There's been some great tackling in this game, plenty of examples of good technique, hitting hard. There was nothing wrong with that.
So Argentina lead 13-3 in the second half, which they've utterly dominated this second half so far. Just a reminder, as we listen to this one here on 5 Live, we've got another 5 commentaries across the weekend on 5 Live or Sports Extra. And online we've got England, Chile, South Africa, Ireland. What a game that will be in Pool B. That's a late one tomorrow. Georgia against Portugal, Scotland, Tonga in Nice on Sunday, and Wales, Australia. That's the late kickoff in Lyon, not too far from here, where they will probably be able to hear the Argentina fans. Listen to them now. It is all the sound of, if this place has 40,000, 38,000 Argentina fans, and the sun is shining down now out of patches of blue sky, mixed in with some very dark clouds above, but we can see the sun glinting off the stand on the far side, the floodlights doing their work as well, as they had to through the earlier rain. And now we're ready to go again, and UJ Seuteni, the La Rochelle centre, is going off after making that tackle. He's being helped off, so a change has been made for Samoa. Just looking to see who's come on. And from that clearing kick, from that penalty, Samoa are up to their own 10-metre line and a line out. The tackle's made. Samoa 100, Argentina 40. Just shows that didn't look straight at all from Samoa. That's a mess from Silala Lam, the hooker, to get that chance, and it was nowhere near straight.
It's a little finesse throw. It's a lobbed ball where he's putting some shape on it. He's got to throw it up first before forward. You get the rotation of the ball slightly off. The ball just drifts away. It looks weak. It's a really difficult throw. He did have a clear man, but it's very obvious when it's travelling that slowly to the referee. We saw a previous one that was bulleted in, which was probably about the same, but it happened so quick the referee ignored it. That one is a slow motion disaster from the hooker.
I mentioned the matches you can listen to, the commentaries from the World Cup over the weekend, 5 of them, and also obviously Rugby Union Daily, which is available to download every day. Clues in the name during the tournament. And in football, 7 Premier League commentaries over the weekend, 5 Live, Sports Extra and the BBC website and app. Argentina scrum dominant there. They were about to get the penalty, but they moved that ball and then feel the effects. And Manu putting in a big hit in midfield, the inside centre, still the ball with Argentina. And the kick goes in from Pablo Matera, the blindside flanker, is pretty well placed as well. Big thump comes in on Paiawa, the fullback for Samoa. He's now being dragged up to within 5 metres of the line. Penalty, Samoa, Argentina. And that was all the work of Matera. Now he's at a turbulent pass. He was the captain, was stripped of his captaincy, but he's closing in on 100 caps for Argentina, and he looks as good a player as he has ever been there, and he's earned Argentina this penalty 8 metres out, and they're sticking it in the corner again.
Argentina tried to run it through their backs. Manu came in and shut it off. Great tackle, and at the back of the breakdown everybody expected Matera to pick and go. Actually picked it and put in a beautiful little left-footed chip kick in behind.
And the line out taken quickly, and this one is loose. It does go back on Argentina's side, but it had to be salvaged by Santiago Carreras, the fly half. And Argentina start to build an attack again. There is Pablo Matera. And Samoa firing up the tackles. Ball went loose, but back off White and Kramer. Then the flanker, huge long brown beard, carries it in and then is repelled and then gets some forward momentum again. And there is Julian Montoya, the captain. Penalty advantage again to Argentina. Samoa offside. Bertranu, the scrum half, skips in, gathers that ball, playing with this free attack here. Ball spilled forward by Argentina. Back for the penalty they come. Samoa will be getting close to a chat and then perhaps a card. So Vui, the captain, is going to be talked to.
Penalties down here inside the 22. I appreciate they've had a little possession down here, but we can't keep giving away penalties inside the 22, okay? Yeah, you can talk to him. Yeah, yes, please, okay? Because the next one I'll go. Yeah, time off. It's a warning.
So just a chat from Chris Vui to his players. Incidentally, just as I said cryptically, if you didn't know about Pablo Matera, stripped to the captaincy, it was He captained the side. He was the captain of the side. He captained them against the All Blacks a short while after Diego Maradona's death, and then some in Argentina felt they hadn't honoured Maradona properly. And there's a deep dive done into his social media past, and they found tweets in the past when he was a teenager that
just to confirm,
deemed to be racist, and he apologised and lost the captaincy, and it was a rather unhappy time for Argentina and for Pablo Matera. But when you watch him now as a player, I think he looks unburdened by it all, and is the player that he was. He's been around so many clubs. He was at Leicester. I think he's playing in Japan now, Pablo Matera. And Argentina have decided that they are going to take the shot at goal here. I'm a little bit surprised at that, because they were certainly, well, maybe they decided from line-outs on one side and then the other. They haven't had much joy in getting past that Samoan defence. So Emiliano Boffelli, all the points so far, 13 of them. With 52 minutes gone, looking to add the first points of this second half. Through it goes from Boffelli. All 16 for the Edinburgh winger. And really, that's the very least that Argentina deserve for their dominance in this second half. 16-3 they lead.
Yeah, 53 minutes gone, so not far off quarter of an hour into the second half. We've been looking at the same spot, same area of the ground since half-time, away to our right. Argentina on the front foot, nothing to show for it. Right decision to take the 3.
So is there a way back into this for Samoa? Wow.
Not if you do that from the kick-off.
Dear, oh dear. Kick out on the full. And everything is going the way of Argentina. There are some very concerned looks in the Samoa coaching box. Now, I was a little bit surprised that Lealifano wasn't taking the restart.
8.
Not sure if Lealifano has
1, 2, 3.
He's just not feeling it at all today, but he didn't take the restart. He went out on the full. Just trying to see who it was who took the restart. Anyway, it's of no matter at the moment. It has been out on the full. Now, two big players are coming on for Samoa. Their erstwhile captain, Michael Alatoa, is on in the front row. And also on in the front row is Charlie Faumaina, a World Cup winner with New Zealand in 2015. 50 caps for the All Blacks. And then he came to play for Toulouse not long after that. So that really ended his All Blacks career. And so that's why he's had 3 years and more of not playing for the All Blacks, not playing for New Zealand, and so able to play for the country of his family. And so here he is for Samoa, packing down. This is a good front row now for Samoa. It was pretty useful before. Well, I say that, Argentina certainly getting the better. They have the penalty at that scrum. So Bertrano comes away, and Sanchez is on the field at fly half as well. Free attack here, Boffelli just trying to ease his way past Ben Lam. Still with that penalty advantage from that scrum. And they'll have that penalty now, Argentina. You can hear the noise from the crowd, that it's celebration from Argentina, but it's a general sort of hubbub and chatter that they feel that the job might be done here. Still a long way to go, 25 minutes to go and 13 points the difference. But Argentina are going to take a pop at goal right on halfway, right in the centre of the field from Emiliano Boffelli.
And all that effort from Samoa, yes, they were on their own goal line for 13 minutes, but then to only concede the 3, get an opportunity to get the ball deep into Argentinian territory and try and shift the game up the field for the next period, all undone by an errant restart. Immediate penalty from the scrum on the centre circle. Boffelli a chance, distance no object from the halfway line to stretch that lead.
Well, a half-hearted wave has been rippling around, but it's broken on the rocks of the disinterested spectators in the corner there, and splashes of sunshine on the far side now. It's a beautiful evening, suddenly in Saint-Etienne. Boffelli, right on halfway, steps forward now. He'll have the distance. by a margin, but he's well wide with that one, Emiliano Boffelli. And so the margin remains Argentina 16, Samoa 3. 56 minutes gone here in this Pool D match. England's pool, England at the head of it, at least with 9 points. Samoa 5, Japan 5, Argentina 0 at the moment. But Argentina, a reminder, their games to come are quite appetising if you're an Argentinian fan, both in Nantes on the west coast against Chile and then Japan, and they will believe that they can still find a way through into the quarterfinals. And then on this more benign side of the draw, how far can they go? Matera holds it in one giant left hand and then scoops it on, but it only goes to Samoan hands now, and Taumateni, the scrum half, gathers it in. Good work in the contact by Fritz Lee, man who plays at Clermont, not too far from here. And Samoa trying to get some go forward again. Inside their own half though, Taumateni, the scrum half, fires it right and now moves it left down this blind side, carried on by Steve Luatua. Hardly had a chance to see the Bristol number 8 carrying. Taumateni goes in looking for it again. Argentina have slowed it down a little bit, and Samoa struggling to make huge headway. They are inside the Argentina half now, carried on by Taleni Siu, the Waratahs man, the second rower. And it'll be an Argentina throw at the line out, and a clap of the hands in frustration from Taumateni, the scrum half, because Argentina defence has been so solid. Samoa, for all their effort there, didn't make too much ground. Another change, Samoa bringing on Dani Tuala, and he's coming on at fullback for Duncan Paia'awa, who was very nearly, I think, red carded earlier on, went to a bunker review, I think perhaps lenient in being spared.
Well, they've obviously gone through due process, but he's played 56 more minutes than we thought he would.
I haven't really seen too much of him in the game, and off he goes, replaced by Tuala. And Argentina getting a maul going just inside their own half, creeping up over halfway now. It just pauses and told to use it, so Bertrano sends it high and it's just straight up in the air. Matera trying to get underneath it. In fact, it's taken by Boffelli. Penalty to Samoa, and that's head on referee's knee there, which I think has done head more damage than referee's knee. Actually, Nick Berry's stretching it off now as well. He's a good player, Super Rugby scrum half, and Nick Berry used to play for the Queensland Reds.
Nick, he hits him as you blow the whistle, there's no foul play.
Yeah, okay.
Just having a chat. Referee to Julien Montoya.
As I was blowing the whistle, he couldn't have pulled out that. If it was after the whistle, it would be foul play. No, it was as I was blowing the whistle.
So Fritz Lee made simultaneous contact with Emiliano Boffelli, who caught the ball that went straight up in the air. Fritz Lee belted him in the back, quite within his rights. It happened exactly as the referee blew the whistle, but the tackle knocked Matera into the referee, and as he fell, caught his napper on the referee's knee.
Yes, Boffelli was getting some vigorous rubbing by the physios there, right at the base of his spine. It looked a very uncomfortable one, but the rubbing seems to have worked, and he's back with us and taking his position in the wing. But it's penalty to Samoa right on halfway, trying to bite as much off that near side touchline as they can. And the man taking the kick now is Liuila. He's only played 79 minutes of Test rugby this year, but he's on the field. It was he who came on the field, and his first touch sent it straight out. He's on at centre. He had to come on, of course, because of the injury to Seuteni. So Samoa, a rare chance here in the second half. They're on the edge of the Argentina 22. Taumateni, the scrum half, moves it now, and through the middle, the little stab and the chase. Can't quite get there. Right in the post. Argentina getting numbers back. The kick through was from Liuila, the replacement, and the chase nearly paid off. It was very well placed. Argentina right under their own post now, trying to muscle their way clear. Argentina against Samoa here on 5 Live in Saint-Etienne, and Argentina clear the lines from deep inside their in-goal area. That is a wonderful clearing kick. There's good defensive work by Boffelli. If he's not heading for player of the match, I will be amazed.
Are you giving out player of the match?
I think it's within my remit. It's not within my remit at all, but let's give it a special 5 Live player of the match.
There you go. Lovely little chip through from Samoa. Lelea's got a nice left foot, notwithstanding his first kick, which was the restart that went straight out. It is where the space is, and it is, you either score or you don't, but what it doesn't do is build too much pressure.
Samoa's lineup functions well for once. They went to the middle and Seu, the replacement second row, but then the Argentina defence comes firing up right on the Argentina 10-metre line in the middle of the field, and Tamateni moves on, and there's a horrible forward pass by Samoa, and they're starting to run out of ideas, and it's Theo McFarland who berates himself. Huge figure, bows his head and gets taps of consolation from his teammates, because he's been one of the better players on the Samoa side.
He has, a little bit like the previous play. That one's designed to play to the middle, split the field, paint the picture that they're running to the left. McFarland takes it back, running to the right-hand side, and then drops an inside ball, presumably for one of his wingers, to make a break close to the breakdown. It's something we've seen Ireland do it a bit, and it's relatively complex at this stage of the game. Samoa needs something more simple because nobody showed up and McFarland threw it on the floor. And like I said before, if you give it back every time in one phase, you build no pressure. You don't force Argentinas to give penalties away because they're under stress. What you do is hand them the ball back, give them an easy opportunity to get back in your half.
Another change made by Argentina. The youngster, the 20-year-old Newcastle lock, Pedro Rubiolo, has come on for Matias Alemano, who's just joined Newcastle, so Falcons fans will get to see him after the World Cup. Again, the Argentina scrum's really started to boss things there, and the attempted stab through gets half charged down, and into touch it goes, and it'll be an Argentina lineup just inside their own half. And Argentina are just not quite slowing things down, they're just settling things now. They know that they're not going to score 4 tries, they're not really chasing that unless they have a late flurry, but they're in control of this game, playing it on their own terms.
Great scrum contest, that one though. Argentina went for Samoa twice. Samoa managed to block them off. Referee said play on, they got on with it.
Julian Montoya, captain, has been impressive. The hooker carries it up over halfway for Argentina. Bertrand, the scrum half, moves it in, and then carried on by the Luced Gacho.
Use that, please.
Their strength is summoned in. Cadella told to get in there by Bertranu, and the scrum half ask, and the forwards deliver. Bertranu then sends it up high. He was almost half caught after sending that kick, Bertranu, but it's contested well by Argentina, and they take it just outside the Samoa 22 and closer to this near side touch. But now they move infield, and Argentina look to build again. Options either side, but they all move to the left now for Bertranu, and a pocket of forwards with a chance to carry, not making too much ground, midway between the 10-metre line and the 22. Now they move it right and inject a little bit of pace, a juggle, then the hands, and there's Boffelli with it, has support out wide, and the support is there from Chocobares, but he goes to ground, and a hard hit, and it's moved by Santiago Carreras. The fly half still in the field, and then the loose head is almost free, and Gajo, Tomas Gajo, through the middle. Samoa trying to desperately contest this ball, but it's still with Argentina. They're building so well, the Pumas. Kramer, flanker has it. He's manhandled, almost back out of the 22, but still just inside the Samoa 22. Argentina go again and go down that left-hand side, the blind side. Santiago Carreras, the fly half, carries it in. Penalty to Samoa. What was that, a dozen phases or so? Bertrand having a little bit of a tango there with the referee. A penalty to Samoa, but they really are starting to breathe hard here.
Probing play from Argentina, just making the extra pass now, close to the breakdown. We saw the break from Gajo, pick and go through the middle. They're running little run-around plays and pivots, but you're never very far away from a solid hit. If you don't get it perfectly right, a Samoan player will absolutely belt you. So there's always an opportunity for a turnover. Manful defence from Samoa.
Not sure who is choosing player of the match. Our host broadcast, it's probably French television choosing it, but we seem to be seeing a lot of Emiliano Boffelli on our screens, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that was a magnificent take right in front of us, just off that high ball. He's a fantastic athlete, brilliant in the air.
Just saw a close-up of Michael Cheika's reaction to that penalty for Samoa at the end, and It was page 1 of lip reading. Or no, tucked away at the back actually. Lip reading you should never see. Samoans line out again. Argentina really are bossing the line out, and they steal that one. The long kick goes the way of Danny Tuala, and he sends the ball deep downfield, and it's returned skyward by the Argentina fullback Malia.
Out now, 19.
So it's there for Samoa, midway between the 10-metre line and the 22. And the replacement centre Liwila gets it moving again. Then comes Taumateni, the scrum half. Oh, and there is Liwila, steps one and then tries to go with a Samoan sidestep, which is straight over. But a good defence by Argentina. Now 3-on-1 for Samoa as they move it left. Can they shift it? Oh, a huge knock-on by Fritz Lee. And the ball is still there for Argentina to claim. But Fritz Lee is down on one knee, shaking his head, knowing that there was an opportunity for Samoa. What a break they could have had.
I thought Manu had made a mess of it. He dummied twice, then went through, went one-handed offload. It was just above Fritz Lee's head, but he would have had a 2-on-1. And with Cruz Malia covering and a man outside him, he felt for sure that would have been a Samoa try. Fritz Lee just took his eye off the ball, fumbled it forward.
Yeah, it was down to that 2-on-1. Ben Lam was on his wing, so it was a clean 2-on-1 if Fritz Lee had taken that. As Argentina start to ring the changes. Kubeli is on at scrum half for Tranu. Now Nicolas Sanchez comes on. I had him on earlier, but he's on for Santiago Carreras at fly half. And there's Nicolas Sanchez with his appearance. I think this is his 99th cap, Nicolas Sanchez. So we're going to look at, I think the assistants come in and they're going to look at some head contact here because Julian Montoya was down receiving treatment. No, we're not. I thought I heard mutterings of head contact, but we are ready to
on that last one, I felt both guys started coming in. That's why I told them to
scrummage again.
Okay.
So 66 minutes gone. Argentina 16, Samoa 3. And Samoa have been under all sorts of pressure in the second half, but again, the first half a tale of Christian Lealifano's missed penalties.
Okay, guys, let's go. Time's on. I haven't seen it, but if I do, I will.
Good to go, and the replacement scrum half for Argentina, Kubeli, ready to feed his first action of the game. There's still time for Samoa, but if they'd scored that try there, Fritz Lee had held. Scrum solid, both sides, nobody making much headway. Argentina start to creep forward, but told to use it now. And Sanchez gives it on. Now there's an opportunity for Argentina, and they kick it deep, and perhaps a little bit too deep. A sideways bounce of the ball, though, heading to the corner flag. Oh my word! It goes just the right side for Argentina of that corner flag, a metre or so from it. And it's...
You took that back into your 50.
It was not a 50-22 because it was taken back into the Argentina half before that one. They thought it was a 50-22. They thought it was going to be their ball at the line out. It is a Samoa throw, but it's so close to their own line.
Another one of those wraparound plays. Sanchez back on the ball. He'd engaged the Samoa backfield, so he knew the space was in behind. Hit a left-footed kick on the run. It had a little bit of side spin on it, which means as it slows down, it'll start to bank left. As it's spinning and rolling, it did exactly that and was 1 metre left of the corner flag, which means it's gone into touch and forced Samoa to play the line out.
Charlie Famoina hasn't been on the pitch too long, but he's down receiving treatment. He might have been down with the same cramp that I was suffering with. Listen to this noise. The official attendance, 38,358. 38,000 of them Argentina fans. They've come back to life in this tournament, and this is a decent Samoa side. They've made mistakes at the line out today. They've made a few crucial errors and missing those place kicks, but it's a decent Samoa side that has really been outplayed by Argentina here.
The 2 penalty kicks would have taken them to 9 points if they'd scored that try there. the game's tied and converted it, they're not a million miles away. They are a good team, but you feel Argentina building
and believing again in this World Cup after that chastening defeat by England in the opening weekend. 5 metres from their own line, Samoa. That didn't look straight at the line out either. But Argentina coming across at the line out, and Samoa spared. They have a penalty.
You're on the 15.
They look outclassed at the line out, though. Argentina's line out has been superb. Oh, and Samoa, are they going to make touch with that? Well, that's a wonderful clean kick now. I thought I was living on the edge, but they found touch, and Samoa, that's taken them all the way up to the Argentina 10-metre line.
It's a massive thump from Leolia. He was 1 metre in touch there, so he gets a little bit of good fortune. Absolutely gone for it. It's the right time to do that. He's carried them fully 55 metres up the field, puts them straight into the attacking zone just inside the 10-metre line of Argentina. Now is the time, Samoa. They need to get 2 or 3 phases right here.
Huge weekend of games coming up in the Rugby World Cup. South Africa against Ireland tomorrow is the pick of the games tomorrow. England against Chile, Georgia against Portugal. Then on Sunday, Scotland, Tonga, Wales against Australia. Knock on from Samoa. They won the ball at the line out. They fumble it in midfield, and Argentina will have the scrum, and the referee stepping in to say don't do that, as some very heavy men start slapping each other a little bit.
The whistle's clearly gone. He's done that. That's what's going to start the.
That's just frustration from Samoa, and again that knock on. I don't know. The ball is slippery, but big knock on from Leoila.
It's not rained for a good while. That was from first phase. Dry ball into the line out. Maul, play away from it. Inaccurate pass. Leolia should have still taken the ball because they were set up for a decent play, but that must be 7th or 8th time that either through their own lack of accuracy or pressure from Argentina that Samoa have given the ball back to them after 1 phase. It's just unsustainable.
A beautiful setting now here in Saint-Etienne, and the underside of the dark clouds above the stand opposite are being lit by the now setting sun. And Argentina have the scrum just inside their own half, right in the centre of the field. 16-3 they lead, heading towards the final 10 minutes in this Pool D match, and Argentina breathing new life into their campaign. The kick is long and is comfortably enough taken by Ben Lam, the Montpellier wing. And coming forward and chasing it down. And Argentina have it again, just inside the Samoa half. Ball to play with for Argentina to try and put the seal on this victory. 10 minutes and a little bit more remaining. Oh, a risky pass over the top and then patted on and patted forward. But that was so nearly an interception for Samoa. That was the long floaty pass that hangs and everybody holds their breath.
Yes, Sanchez hurls the ball over the top. Chocobares, the outside centre, knows that if he catches it, he's going to get absolutely finished by
that last one was good.
By the Samoan right winger.
Don't change your bind, keep long with your bind.
Wong, who was on the charge. So Chocobares tapped it on one-handed to avoid the collision. Just went slightly forward.
So Samoa scrum, they're running out of time here, but they have another decent position here on the Argentina 10-metre line, 15 metres from that far side touch. And change being made, and Matias Moroni, number 13 for Argentina, goes off. And Lucio Cinti is on in his place. And Moroni, who was one of the few changes to the Argentina side after that defeat against England, it was Michael Cheika saying to his players, go out and prove you're better than that. Moroni, the Newcastle centre, did come in, and he's taken his leave now. Cinti is on, Saracens man in midfield. A lot of Argentina players playing in the UK. Samoa win good ball, and an opportunity here to try and fashion something up to the Argentina 10-metre line. Now 10 metres from this near side touch, down in front of us. How many gets it going again, the scrum half? Lea Lefano is the link, and then the forwards carry it in. And Talmateni, the scrum half again, just shouting the orders, but leaving it to his forwards to carry. Not making much ground though. Argentina's defence is good here and actually pushes Samoa further back. They're kind of lost between the 10-metre line and the halfway line at the moment, Samoa, and it all slows down. McFarlane tries to carry, and then Fritz Lee is there, stripped by Argentina, but then the ball is loose. Taumateni peering through it, and it's still bouncing around. Argentina scrabbling back, and now in all sorts of trouble. Oh, and Taumateni as he... Well, Argentina complaining. So the ball was in the in-goal area. Argentina had it. Taumateni came diving in when he didn't need to.
Yeah, the referee, the ball came loose in the breakdown, but it wasn't a knock-on from Samoa. It was stripped by Pablo Matera. He dragged the ball back, so it's play on. Argentina toe went on the ball, nudged it backwards. Ball ends up behind the goal line as Buffelli remonstrates with the assistant referee.
Well, the referee is saying no foul play there. Montoya's last few words are to the assistant as he goes off. He's been replaced by Agustin Crevi. And Crevi's now continuing the chat, and the boos from the Argentina fans have seen it on the big screen. It was Taumateni going in. I didn't see who the Argentina player was who'd been fielding in the in-goal area. But it was a sort of knee in the head, but said no foul play because...
I think it was Cruz Malio, the fullback, who took the ball over the try line to give the 5-metre scrum. There's 17 metres to the left for Samoa. You feel that
this is it.
They've got to score now. They've got to convert, and then it's a 6-point game with 5 minutes to go.
Can they find a try? 72 minutes, 48 seconds gone. Argentina 16, Samoa 3. 5-metre scrum to Samoa. Big blind side. 15 metres in from this near side touch, and a little bit more. Options either side. Need a solid scrum. Have it. Advantage to Samoa as well. Free attack here. Crash ball. And Samoa do like a crash ball. Leoila takes it in. Still advantage to Samoa. Theo McFarland is brought down, shoved to the ground, goes tumbling down. Still with Samoa. Still penalty advantage right under the post here. Needs something. Not forward. Back for the penalty they come.
One time in.
But the clock ticks. Samoa need to score.
Right tight head on your knees.
And need to score now. It was the tight head prop for Argentina who'd gone to his knees, Codella. And Samoa having a long think about what to do here. But again, they need to get moving. 13 points the deficit. They need a converted try. And as Paul was saying, get within 6 points, and then it's up for grabs. So standing over the ball is the replacement hooker Malolo, ready to go himself. Malolo driving onto that line. The blue shirts come piling in to drive him forward. 2 metres out. They go again. Fritz Lee. Argentina piling in defence. Samoa come again, rattling away at the door. Still with Samoa. 2 metres out. Argentina's defence is so quickly up. Still there for Samoa. The forwards drive in again. Score, Samoa!
Unbelievable pressure from Samoa. Physical strength, hurling themselves at the line. Argentina piling in as low as they can, but it was irresistible in the end. It's only 5 metres to the left of the post. You feel for sure after Malola managed to get over the line. The pitch still slightly damp, so his momentum took him underneath the tacklers.
And it's quickly converted as well by D'Angelo Leolia. And game on. The replacement hooker, Sama Malolo, driving over. 6 points in it now, with just 4 minutes remaining.
He felt sure after all the opportunities they've turned down, Samoa. All they got to do was hang on to the ball for a bit. Made the brave decision to tap the 5-metre penalty rather than go to the line out. 5 or 6 carries later, they've gone over.
Think about those missed kicks from Tristan Lealifano. Again, it doesn't always work out that way. It doesn't mean that they would be tied up now. Rugby matches don't quite work that way in terms of cause and effect and consequence. But here are Samoa, they take the restart. They're deep inside their own half, halfway between the 10-metre line and the 22. Kamateni gives it back to Lealifano, and he sliced his kick. Who can take it? Goes into Argentina hands. Play on, says the referee, and it's opening up an opportunity. Kramer barging his way forward. Argentina now on the attack. 4 minutes to go. Argentina 16, Samoa 10. Samoa at the moment have a losing bonus point. They want so much more. Argentina just want to make sure of this victory. Now the attack down that blind side into the Samoa 22. Carried on. And then the spill by Crevy, the veteran. And Agustin Crevy, the sail hooker, knocks forward. Man playing his 4th Rugby World Cup, breathes hard. Samoa will have the scrum inside their own 22. Time and distance is against them.
Yes, it is. It's a little bit unfair, that pass to Creevy. 6 inches off the ground, a little bit too low for him with that many miles on the clock. The knock on. Samoans are begging the referee to get on with it. They don't want the clock to tick anymore. 77, 07, 8, 9, 10. We count down. They're probably going to have one more crack at it. They've maybe even got time to get rid of the ball and get it back once, but it's going to be tight.
There is one determined pocket of Samoa fans on the far side who are waving their red and blue flags. They're surrounded by Argentina supporters who continue to dance and bounce and shout. Samoa have the scrum, they have the ball, they're inside their own 22 now as they chase a miracle and chase the length of the field. The kick gives that ball away though. Opportunity for Argentina to counter. Little step in field from Malia, the full back. Can Samoa get on the ball? No! Penalty to Argentina.
These two are competing, you can't lose your hands up.
And it's all explained to Muamanu, the post centre, who had his hands in the ruck. Penalty to Argentina, and that might well be that. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, and that was my point about you've got one opportunity to maybe get rid of the ball and get it back in an advantageous position. They went for the long kick. Cruz Malia ran the ball back, gambled a little bit. Samoa got exactly what they wanted, a tackle around the halfway line with an opportunity to compete, and unfortunately they didn't get that competition on the ground absolutely right. Hands in, hands on the floor from Tamua Manu, which has resulted in an Argentinian penalty. They're completely in control of the clock. This is where the great big blue countdown clock in the corner helps the kicker. Wait until 1 second to go and then you can kick it, and that'll mean the game is just about, there'll be 30 seconds left by the time he kicks this ball.
Well, it's Nicolas Sanchez taking on the kicking duties from Emiliano Boffelli. Boffelli's still in the field, but Sanchez, Argentina's all-time leading point scorer, and this to move Argentina beyond a converted score, this to seal the victory. 1 minute to go, steps forward. Oh, he has it surely. What a kick from Nicolas Sanchez. Again with his last breath, the ball creeps over the post. And the Stade Geoffroy Guichard erupts in Argentinian noise and celebration because they have this victory now.
What a kick, inch perfect.
Well, as a great kicker himself, Paul Grayson knows, and the pressure that was on there, and then a fumble at the restart. 79 minutes and 35 seconds gone. Argentina 19, Samoa 10, and Samoa now deprived even of a losing bonus point. And Argentina now will just try and see out this clock, but they're heading for a victory to revitalise their campaign here in France.
Yeah, fully revitalised. We've mentioned their supporters, how loud they were before the game against England in Marseille, how quiet they were in the stadium. They've had 2 weeks to get ready. They've come back in good voice, in good spirit, along with their teams. Samoa have been fantastic in their defiance, abject at times in their application of the way they want to play, but they still had it at a one-score game with seconds on the clock.
There are no supporters in world rugby that make more noise than Argentina when they are playing well. It is just alive. The Geoffroy Guichard, the chaudron there, the cauldron is bubbling away. And again, they're battering in the hoardings on the far side and waving their shirts and their flags. It's quite a sight, quite a sound. Advantage to Argentina at the scrum as well. The clock has gone red, and Argentina will see out the victory here. They have a penalty. They could play on and send it to touch and go for a line-out and go for something else, but they may just send it out. Still with a penalty advantage. Sanchez sticks it through the middle, and they'll come back for that penalty now. And I suppose you will. The referee just apologising that didn't let Argentina really have the advantage.
I think Argentina were about to score under the post as the referee blew his whistle.
As Carreras, Mateo Carreras, the winger who's through. And Nick Berry, full in his apologies. Still apologising. Still apologising. Very, very, very sorry. And in a group that might be as tight as this, points difference.
Yes, absolutely. They can look back on that. Hopefully they won't.
Well, they're just sticking it out now, Paul. They're just sending it to... I thought they might try for more points, but they're happy with the victory, and the players are spilling onto the pitch and ready to celebrate with their teammates, because Argentina, and again, it all went so wrong against England, but well, 2 weeks is a long time to stew and fester over that. But again, it seems a long time ago now, because this is a different side tonight for Argentina.
Completely different side. Beware Samoa, I would say, because they stuck in that game against an Argentina team who were given field position and possession for a lot of it from Samoa's mistakes, but they re-energised Argentina. You feel that they can carry this crowd wherever they go, and the crowd can carry them deep into the tournament. And don't the tournament need it? They are a magnificent set of travelling fans. Absolutely superb occasion here. Samoa will be hurt. All of their team dropped to their knees virtually at the end of the game. They know they haven't delivered what they wanted to deliver, and yet they were still in the game right till the end. There's more to come from them in the World Cup.
Yeah, and you say beware Samoa. They play England in their final match. Samoa play Japan in Toulouse, and then England in Lille to close out this pool. Argentina have 2 good games for them in Nantes, as we mentioned, against Chile, and then Japan. Look out for Argentina. They are far from done in this World Cup yet. They are alive again. They have the win. It's a 4-point win, but they are up and running. Argentina win it by 19 points to 10 in Saint-Etienne. There's Pickle with the bones of that one again for us, Paul, just a little bit, because we've got a little bit more time here. You watched, obviously, the Argentina-England game, and it was night and day. And again, when you look at the side of the draw, that there's no reason for Argentina not to believe they can, make it to the semi-finals, perhaps. No, absolutely. You assume they'll get to a quarter-final, either play Australia, Wales, or Fiji. But they'll be in a happy place now. It'll be a good evening in their hotel. So there we are, Claire. We said it was going to be close. I mean, for much of it, Argentina were in control, but certainly close at the end. And what an atmosphere here in Saint-Etienne.
Brilliantly exciting, chaps. Thank you so much, Andrew Cotter and Paul Grayson. And don't forget, the Rugby World Cup continues on 5.